Ben Graham versus Buhan would be a hilarious debate.
I'm gonna beat the shit out of you on that, boy. Yeah, let's do Kenpachi versus Vegeta first, though.
Let's do it.
We've been bullshit on that one. All right, so do you want me to go first, or you? I'll be repping Kenpachi. You'll be repping peak Vegeta.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, you want me to start, or you want to go?
Yeah, you go ahead.
All right, my fellow citizens, and Chuck, welcome to like the 4th debate of the night. And by the way, for my fans, we basically do intros and then like a few short rounds, and then we'll conclude so we can do a bunch of debates. But I believe with Kenpachi's highest scaling, he pretty comfortably scales above Vegeta. For instance, we know that Kenpachi in the light novels was casually able to counteract someone that could literally fill up and destroy a hyperspace, which we knew at that point was above the regular dimensions of Bleach, so it would be a higher dimensional construct. So at worst, it would be an infinite hyperspace of 5th dimensional proportions, and this was like casually negged by a Kenpachi who wasn't even at full power. Kenpachi is also considered a threat by Aizen. Keep in mind, this Aizen literally, like, super fucking casually destroyed a being consisting of literal logic itself, which like determines things like math, philosophy, all of that. And this being was casually one-shot with this realm he was in being multiple dimensions. It's a higher dimensional construct as well, and that being he one-shot governs all of time and space, which would be the infinite multiverse. And it was a being, again, that was made of logic, and it literally verbatim states it was a showing from Aizen to prove he scales beyond logic. And the fact that he considers like Kenpachi a threat to him in power, the fact that Kenpachi was able to scale to shit that's like able to combat Aizen to a degree, like the higher numbered spells, or I forgot what they're actually technically called in Bleach, but the Hados or something shit like that, they scale roughly to Aizen, some of the higher ones, and those are also listed as like extra dimensional, and Kenpachi like casually scales to and beyond that. So Kenpachi, especially at full power, given him after the light novels and such, he got stuff like the patch, and that made him considerably stronger. I think he literally outstats Vegeta and erases him.
All right, you done?
Yeah, that's my intro.
Okay. Yeah, well, I think Vegeta blitzes because he would scale massively above base Goku in the manga, who moved in a void without time and space. Also would scale up to high infinite as well, because we do have base Goku in the afterlife being able to move from the Grand Kai's planet all the way to Hell in a couple minutes. So he should be infinite to inaccessible. So I don't see how the fuck Kenpachi is going to be able to hit him at all. And not to mention that Ultra Ego Vegeta can just use Spirit Fission to like split his Zanpakuto's spirit from his self. And he could also just he would also get stronger from the damage he receives. So I think also Vegeta has range, so he could just keep a distance from Kenpachi and just blast him with energy attacks. Which I don't think Kenpachi will be able to chop away simply. And Kenpachi doesn't have range at all. He's more of a close-range fighter. So I think overall Vegeta would take it with his speed and his range attacks.
So to answer the speed question, that's pretty easy. First of all, characters of Kenpachi tier can fight beyond time and space, at least bare minimum regular time and space, and go beyond logic, which would be including the likes of the speed equation. As well as literally Kenpachi fucked up somebody that could instantly fill a hyperspace, a higher dimensional hyperspace. So to say like Kenpachi doesn't have the speed scaling would be kind of crazy. He definitely does, especially in the higher meta. So there's no question he could keep up with Vegeta. In fact, you could argue he might even have some more sound scaling than Vegeta does in the speed department. But like at worst, he's relative. If not an equal. And on top of this, given his spiritual pressure is scaling via scaling above like something that could destroy a higher dimensional hyperspace, scaling relative to someone who can literally destroy logic itself that governs all the time and space, which is an infinite multiverse. I do feel like you could argue like the pressure itself could kill Vegeta, but I think he's fast enough to close in and engage him in a regular sense, and easily be able to fuck him up that way, as well as we know like he could go toe-to-toe with an Ichigo whose raw power could match like an infinite or endless Reaper, Soul Reaper execution weapon. So I definitely feel like in stats Kenpachi absolutely has them.
Okay, well, I do see your point with the filling the hyperspace. That was with the fight with the Zashido. However, we don't have like an exact time frame, and we also don't know exactly how big the hyperspace is. So,
well,
so
we do know it was above the regular time and space. So like something beyond time and space would naturally be bigger. On top of this, it does actually say his Hado filled the entirety of the hyperspace in moments. It does say that in the light novel.
Oh, okay.
And Kenpachi wiped it out almost instantly, so it's like that's why it was a big deal.
Well, the thing is, like as I said, like even base Goku has like feats that are on that level, if not higher, and then Ultra Ego is like basically like a fusion multiplier, if not greater. So even if they do both theoretically have like the same tier of speed, I think Vegeta would scale higher with his multipliers.
The ability is I've never seen Vegeta demonstrate, and I've never seen Dragon Ball characters demonstrate their soul destroying ability or soul separating ability working on characters that scale massively above them. So I don't think it would actually work on Kenpachi. I believe his spiritual pressure is too literally naturally high. As we know, Aizen literally says that in terms of power, characters like Ichigo and whatnot, they scale, and like himself, they scale like dimensions, literally dimensions above time and space. So he would, and that makes sense because he destroyed logic. And Kenpachi's definitely this tier, especially when he gets stronger. And you brought up like what base Goku can do and whatnot and speed, but we literally know like base characters can like Kenpachi was in base when he casually negged an inaccessible speed attack like instantly. So for him to do that and for him to have the range to so he had the range to attack a hyperspace filling attack instantly. So that's a 5D ranged attack that he wiped out. So him being able to do that also addresses the range aspect for against Vegeta. So I think he would be able to close the distance, engage Vegeta, and I do feel like Vegeta majority of the time does engage in hand-to-hand. So I feel like he'd walk right into the trap of Kenpachi fucking him up. But there's also, and I do feel like I've done really good AP scaling, that he could just flex and like that fuck up or kill Vegeta. His spiritual pressure. Do you have anything else you want to bring up for it, or you want to conclusions?
Yeah, just conclusions, I guess. I don't really have anything else.
Yeah,
I guess.
I'll conclude first because I think you concluded like the last couple first. So
yeah.
This was a really good. This is probably one of our better debates so far. I do feel like I demonstrated in the stats department the fact that they scale above logic, beyond time and space, multiple dimensions above, so scaling casually above higher dimensional hyperspace structures being destroyed, shit like that, and attacks and that fill up voids like that instantly. These things of that nature, I feel like I blatantly demonstrated is comfortably above anything Vegeta scales to, and I felt like I successfully countered points brought up about the hats with the fact that there was no counter to me bringing up Vegeta's never once demonstrated he could do it to beings with higher pressure or defense or AP. So I don't feel like any of the win cons are met for Vegeta, And as a result, I feel like I properly introduced how Kenpachi would close distance and win. And I also introduced potentially a spirit pressure alone could be too much. I think overall I proved he's simply overwhelming for even peak Vegeta. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I think generally, like, even if you did give the benefit of the doubt that base Kenpachi would have an accessible speed feat, I think the Ultra Ego multiplier is way too high to contend with the Kenpachi's multiplier, because even if you Kai bolt Kenpachi, he would have like 100 times multiplier, which Shikai is 5 to 10, and then Bankai would be another 5 to 10. So So I think that even if they did have similar speed tiers in that regard, I think Ultra Ego is still higher. But yeah, that's probably where I would conclude. I think Vegeta speed blitzes and has a range to keep Kenpachi at bay, even if he does have more attack potency. So, yeah.
All right, chat. That was a really good debate, by the way. Chat,
Yeah.
let us know who you think won.